In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 10 brands that I hear very rarely talked about in the reselling space that have been selling great for us in the last 90 days. This video is all about sharing a few brands that we've learned over the last 2 to 3 months and have actually been selling really well in our store. And hopefully this video will help you go out there and find these, whether that be at a garage sale, an op shop, or maybe if you can start doing some consignment for some higher end brands just like this. So the first one that we're going to talk about is Searle the label, and that is this brand right here. It is a very high-end women's brand. Searle the label, we have sold a few of these lately. Now we are doing commission on some of this stuff, so a lot of this is new with tags, but even Searle the label in pre-owned condition will do really well. So we've been selling some of these dresses between sort of $150 and $250 in the last few months, and they have been selling quite quickly. And I think going into these sort of spring and summer months, these will definitely continue to pick up, maybe even for Christmas. Another brand that I've heard maybe once or twice talked about is Mossman. Again, a really strong women's brand, and you'll see kind of a bit of a through theme with this. A few of these are new with tags items. Now, it's not often you find new with tags items in a thrift store, but it is not impossible. We've definitely done it before. We've found some Age new with tags, we've found some Black Milk, some Zimmerman. So this stuff is out there. Mossman, a great brand to be looking out for. Again, a really high-end brand. This jacket went for $149.95 with a retail price of $269. So good resale value considering what the original retail price was. Another women's brand here, it is Shona Joy. This is another brand that I think is super undervalued and under talked about in the reselling space. We have sold a few of these Shona Joy dresses in the last couple of weeks, and we actually picked these up from an op shop for 20 bucks each. So we did sell this one here for $129.95. Obviously, again, this one was new with tags, but even pre-owned Shona Joy can do okay. Obviously, you just want to be looking up some styles and making sure that the sell-through is good on this type of item. All right, let's talk about Kagi. Everyone talks about Coogi, and Kagi is essentially the predecessor to Coogi. Kagi then turned into Coogi. So this is definitely a brand to be keeping an eye out for because it has a bit of collectability. Now, this was a pretty basic colored wool sort of button-up jacket, which are like the least popular, and this still sold for about $60 on an offer. So definitely keep your eye out for that Kagi brand, and obviously Coogi, which is those really bright sweaters that you see now and again out in the thrift store. I think we've only found 1 or 2 in our whole time of thrifting, but they do pop up on Marketplace here and there. All right, next one here isn't really about the brand. I want to talk a little bit about the composition of the actual materials within items that can add some value, even if it's sort of brands that we're not aware of. So this one here was a Wasco wool mohair fur coat. It was oversized. It was even missing a button, I believe. And this still sold for $89.95. So it's definitely keeping an eye out for stuff with like wool mohair. I've got another example here, Merino Mink, which is a merino wool possum angora blend. Possum and angora are probably 2 of the high-end ones you want to be looking out for. This one ended up selling for $99.95. We did find that in the thrift store. I think we paid about $12 for that one. So very happy to get that one out the door, and we're definitely keeping an eye out for those sort of rarer blends that you find in materials. And again, another one here, a cashmere. Cashmere, obviously, it's one that most people know. This one sold for $99.95. Again, we weren't aware of the brand. This one was Alessandra, but obviously the material sort of gave it away that it was potentially worth a bit of money. It did not last very long at all, $99.95 out the door. So keep your eye out for those sort of rarer materials when you're out in a thrift store. You can usually tell just by the touch of them. I hate touching stuff with like mohair and all that sort of stuff in it because it just gives me the ick, but it is a good indication that it's potentially worth some money. Next up, we've talked a lot about hiking shoes in the past, and we talked a lot about brands like Kain and Merrell and all those sort of high quality ones that everyone's aware of. But this one here is One Planet, and I hadn't actually heard of this hiking brand before I actually found this pair. We did find this in a thrift store for 10 bucks, but I did see the Vibram on the sole, so that was a pretty good indication that this was potentially worth a bit of money, and it did not take long at all to sell for $79.95. So a good indicator when you are out there looking for hiking shoes is to keep your eye out for this little Vibram logo just here. That's usually a pretty good indication that it's a quite high quality shoe. And what Vibram is, it is the sole sole of the shoe. It's just a really high quality sole that lasts a long period of time, and it is a well-respected brand. So just keep an eye out for that Vibram logo on pretty much anything and give that item a bit of a look up because it's potentially worth some money. Talk a little bit about motorcycle jeans, because we all hear Dragons and Harley Davidson and all that sort of stuff, but not too many times do you hear talked about. So we picked this one up from Savers, I think it was, for like 20 bucks, and we're happy to pay up for these, and these sold for $89.95 pretty quickly. They even had like a little mark on them, but still out the door. So obviously keep your eye out for Dragon as well. You want to be looking for those line jeans. They usually have like a yellow or a black insert. You can kind of tell this is a black insert, but a lot of them will have like a yellow Kevlar lining. But do not use Kevlar in your title because you will get veroed faster than you can list it. All right, we're getting to some brands that are pretty high end. I've got a very special one right at the end here, so make sure you stick around and let us know in the comments below how many of these brands you actually knew before this video. And I'd really be interested to hear how many of these brands are new to you guys as well. So Reese, this is an interesting brand. I've started finding a bit of this out in a thrift store. This one here has a price tag of $655 brand new, but we have picked up some pre-owned stuff and it has been selling pretty quickly as well. This one ended up selling for $110 on an offer, so it does lose a bit of its retail value, but even pre-owned, we sold a shirt the other day for about $69.95. So keep your eye out for Reese when you're out there. Italian fabric is always a good indicator as well. Anything that's sort of made in Italy is probably worth you looking up. These last two are two brands that I have never heard talked about in the reselling space, and I'm super happy to share these with you guys so you can keep an eye out for them when you're out in the thrift store. The first one is Leo Lynn. This is a Sydney-based brand, and they are extremely high-end dresses. So they retail for about $500–600 in most cases, and they are like very bright, vibrant. They kind of got that gourmand type of vibe, but even higher than that. Obviously, these are all new with tags. We were doing these on commission for somebody. We've sold a couple of these, and I think this one ended up going for about $299.95. Brand new with tags, obviously helps it out. But if you want to keep your eye out for that little Leo Lynn tag when you're in the thrift store, it's probably one worth looking up even in pre-owned condition. All right, the big banger of today is this brand here, Issey Miyake. This is a Japanese designer. Again, this was an item that we took on commission, and this sold for $650 in the end, I think. I'll show you the tag so you guys know what to look out for. This was Pete's Please by Issey Miyake. So it was like a pleated dress, and it was literally in our store for like 2 days, and it sold overseas for $650 on an offer. So Issey Miyake is one of those brands that you're probably not going to come across often, but if you see that label, definitely do some research on it. This one was new with tags, as I said, but even pre-owned, Issey Miyake is a pretty popular brand. If you can find any of those sort of pleated dresses or skirts, you're definitely going to make some pretty serious money pretty quickly on this sort of stuff. All right, guys, please let me know in the comments if you've enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see a couple other types of videos just like this one, sharing some high-end items that not many people in the reselling space talk about. And I hope you guys have learned a couple brands from today. If you have, let me know in the comments, and we will see you next time on Aussie Thrifters. Bye for now.